Right. Let me tell you about the last time I really played. The sun was in my eyes and a cool breeze brushed against my face. Suddenly, my body was flooded with energy. My heart rate was elevated as I ran to stop the ball from becoming a four. I dived very dramatically but miscalculated, so I tumbled very comically. But luckily, the tips of my outstretched fingers stopped the ball from reaching the boundary. This was the final ball, and we were just one run ahead and so close to victory. This ball that had bounced in my direction was like every other good opportunity in my life. So close, just within my grasp, and I fumbled. I became the Neymar of the cricket world for a split second, but somehow my instincts took over. I stumbled, I picked up the ball, I aimed it, I threw it. The wicketkeeper on the other side caught it and took a magnificent run out. We won. We cheered. I won. I won even though I was aiming for the wicket on the other side. And it gets better. Later in the day, when we were done playing, I received the credit for winning this game unanimously, which I, of course, accepted very graciously, as blunders can make wonders. Now, let me give you something to ponder. I want you to visualize your favorite game or your favorite sport and picture yourself playing this game at your dream job, somewhere you wish to work someday. And at your dream job, you have a giant scoreboard and you're going to get paid to play based on how you perform. Minus the cheerleaders and the screaming fans. Playing at your dream job, how many days off would you really take? Not many, I imagine. The way we play tells us a lot about how we work when nobody's watching. Because when we are coming to play, we are coming in with curiosity. We are ready to take risk, to team up, to go the extra mile for the win. And most importantly, we are ready to enjoy. Now, all of this is extremely essential for success in the workplace, but are often suppressed due to hierarchy and work pressure. Over the last 2 decades, I've run team building programs across the globe, in person and virtually, and I've seen the same pattern time and time again. In a game, when we are playing it, taking a risk, or solving a puzzle, we get a sneak peek into who you really are, because that is your subconscious at work. Your instinct, your intent, your emotions take the lead without the fear of formalities or performing under pressure. Play has been an integral part of how humans learn, grow, and thrive. Let me take you back to ancient India. We had a game called Pachisi. This was a royal game, a game played in the palaces that taught princes about planning and patience. And this game evolved into modern day Ludo. And I'm sure all of y'all have played Ludo. If not, the board game, definitely you've tried it on your phone. And haven't you learned a thing or two about planning and patience? Planning because you know just how many steps you need to reach a safe zone when you're playing Ludo, or how many steps you need to knock off another opponent's piece from the board. And patience. Have you ever had that one final piece and you're about to win the game and you have to get one number to win, but you're rolling every other number under the sun? Sometimes everyone else will complete the game before you, but you're still rolling and waiting for that number. Another game from our past is Chaturanga, the ancestor of modern day chess. These were games that trained minds on critical thinking and warfare. These games focused on calculated risk and strategic sacrifices to take control of the board. In other words, one person should take relevant risks to succeed. Say, for example, if you have exams coming up, don't stop having fun. Study more. Does that make sense? Wonderful. Now, since play has been an integral part, we can safely say that playful behaviors have echoed throughout evolution and into the modern workplace. Because in the animal kingdom, creatures learn how to hunt, bond, navigate social hierarchies, dodge other animals in the food chain, all through play. And in order for us to understand how we work with how we play, let me tell you what play can do for you. Play builds relationships. It breaks barriers. Sometimes leaders, managers, and newcomers are all on the same team trying to solve a challenge through brainstorming. Or maybe they are on one side of a field, cheering a teammate across the finish line. So let me give you a real life experience of mine. My team and I had a client who was having over 1,000 employees gather for an annual event. And they had tried nearly every type of employee engagement. I'm talking photo booths, carnival stalls, game stalls, talent shows, musical competitions, you name it, they had tried it. You know how I know? Because I also gave the same ideas and they rejected it saying, David, we've already done it. One or two of my ideas showed real promise, but those were rejected with the ever so hurtful, Sir, maja Allah, or Sir, maja nahi aa raha hai. So we finally proposed the Shuffle Showdown. This was a high energy team building tournament of games. And the magic lay in how we shuffled the teams for every round. We used a very simple technique, wristbands with unique identifiers. And we were very nervous because we had never done it for a crowd this big. So picture me in front of 1,000 people explaining the rules of the game. And when the LED walls lit up with those unique identifiers and the locations for them to rendezvous at, people moved. They knew exactly where they had to go, what they had to do, and they were excited to see who was going to be in their team and who they were going to be competing against. And for every round, we shuffled them the same way. At the end of this engagement, people who had never spoken to each other before were now giving high fives, dancing, and jamming together. Play had built this relationship. Play broke the barriers of hierarchy and dissolved silo thinking mindsets. Another thing that play can do for you is play shows how you handle pressure and progress. We were running a team building game called Calibrate Together for a manufacturing company. And the participants were software engineers, quality engineers, mechanical engineers, heads of departments, basically the Avengers of engineering. And their goal was to assemble products made out of recycled paper. And the game focused on efficiency, quality, and minimizing wastage. And when I say quality, we kept extremely high standards of quality as parameters on purpose. So that if a team's products got rejected, they would have to negotiate with another team to figure out what was the winning blueprints and in return share some of their points. And because we were awarding points for speed, precision, and the clock was ticking, one would expect a lot of begging, borrowing, and stealing of ideas. But what we saw was a team of superheroes. The Avengers had assembled. They began to share their knowledge openly. They began to adapt quickly. They started thinking like a system, not as competitors, but as co-creators. And when it came to these teams working together, play was able to reveal how we handled feedback, how we managed pressure, how we mitigated loss and rejection by having a growth mindset. Just like at work, we don't always get it right the first time. It is an evolution of trial, feedback, and shared wisdom. You don't need to know everything. You just have to be open and ready to adapt. And a third thing that play does is that it helps us take the spotlight and accept responsibility. Because when we are playing, we're able to step out of our comfort zones to try something new without fear. This sense of psychological safety builds confidence, and confidence builds leaders. Because many a times we have seen people who do not speak up in meetings, but are ready to take the lead or charge in a game. And in order for us to ensure that these individuals are recognized and fully felicitated, it is time for us to invite them onto the game and to make sure that they are fully invited onto the dais. They don't even recognize that they are in the spotlight because they are so immersed in the game. They are so caught up in the action. We were running a session for college students just straight into a company. This was their first time in a job, and we wanted to make sure that they were able to get a brief, that is, they were able to take the spotlight and accept responsibility. So when I walked into that session, I saw that I was met with complete silence. Everyone was on their phones, probably playing Ludo, who knows. Now these individuals, fresh out of college, had been competing since childhood. They had worked really hard in school, and when we reached into college, and we know how hard entrance exams are, right? So once they reached into college, they had to complete assignments. They had to maintain their grades. They finally were given the responsibility of their own personal finance. And then they had to make their resume and get into placements. Because when they finally got placed and it was time for them to take the spotlight and shine, everyone around them looked like a rival because they've been competing for so long. When we were doing this session for them, these new joiners straight out of college, we did 2 days of non-stop games. Play helped them connect as human beings and see each other as the stepping stone to their success. And when you look at this image and you'll think that everyone on their phone, would they really turn into leaders? They did. Now, many of y'all will be joining the workforce soon. You all will join teams, you all will build relationships, you all will solve problems, you all will face challenges, and eventually you all will get into leadership roles. And I have just one idea for you all to take. Play is not separate from work. It is a reflection of who you are, and it is most likely how you will build relationships, how you will take on the spotlight and accept responsibility, and how you will handle pressure and progress. If we truly wish to evolve into stronger teams, we have to stop separating the fun from function and the productivity from play. Because great teams and great leaders are not built, they aren't born. They are planned through team building. They are designed through play. Thank you so much.